if you are watching this video, it means that you are about to pick up your puppy. Yay! If you guys have any questions, and you probably will, I definitely recommend that you write them down, because when you get here, it happens so much. You get here, you're gonna be really excited, and you might completely forget your questions. So since everyone is hopefully coming right around the same time, you might hear a question from someone else. You may have the same question, and so that way everybody can benefit from everybody else's questions. And if you don't have any questions because I covered them all, then that's good too. That's fine also. All right, let's get the least pleasant aspects of the conversation out of the way right from the get-go. The rules. Please do not bring firearms to my house. Please do not bring a million things in my house because you might forget them. I can't tell you how often people will leave things. I've had purses left, scarves, hats, coats, mittens. Try to leave everything in your car. The second thing is going to be shoes are going to be off. You can either take them off out on the porch. That would be my preference, but if it's like pouring rain, then you're welcome to come in and take them off by the front door. Then we are going to go straight to the sink and wash hands. Everybody's gonna wash hands in the kitchen sink. I'll have a towel for you. Again, it's just for the puppy's safety. You're trying to keep everything as clean as possible. And then you're going to get your puppy, and then we're going to go ahead and handle the business part of it. So cash. Take cash on pickup, get that out of the way, and then we can get on to meeting your puppy, talking about your puppy, answering your questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, you've got my ear, you know, you've got my time. Go ahead and ask whatever you want, and we'll get through as much as we can so that you feel completely prepared and like comfortable. And you're never gonna feel really prepared. You never really feel ready, I think, when you take the responsibility seriously, when you know what a commitment it is. Please don't feel like you're asking stupid questions. None of your questions are ever stupid, and I've probably heard them 1,000 times. So don't be afraid to ask whatever question you have. I think it's probably just time to get into the fun part, which is talking about your new puppy and the things that you're gonna need to know for the first like day, 2 days, 3 days that you bring your puppy home. I don't want to inundate you with a million things at once, or you're just gonna feel overwhelmed, and it's probably gonna make you feel more anxious. So what this video is gonna be is to sort of give you the basics, try to answer as many questions as you might have in your head right now, and then also to just sort of let you know, enjoy your puppy weekend and not feel completely overwhelmed. And you don't have to worry about a lot of the heavy training until a couple months from now. Right now, it's getting to know your puppy and teaching your puppy words and keeping your puppy safe and getting your puppy on a good schedule. And that's pretty much it. You're probably full of excitement and maybe some nerves, a little bit of anxiety. If this is your first baby, this is your first dog, your first puppy, it's gonna be really stressful. And that's okay, that's normal. A lot of times I'm gonna say like, oh, I probably seem so ridiculous. Please don't feel like that. You're not ridiculous. So try not to beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up for being worried. Don't beat yourself up if you're not worried. You know, if you've had a puppy before, you might be a little bit more relaxed about it. If you've had a kid before, if you've ever had a human baby, then definitely relax, because you've got this under control. You've done this before, and this is gonna be easier because, you know, you couldn't leave your baby in a playpen and just go to the grocery store. Like, you can leave this baby in a playpen and, you know, go get your hair done. That's not something, you know, you'd get arrested for that. So a puppy is it's not as hard as a human, and it's not as intense as a human. It's very unlikely that you are going to ruin your puppy. You would have to make an effort. So try not to believe that every single thing that you do in these early days is going to make such a massive impact that your puppy is going to be ruined beyond repair. That's not true. Yes, good early training and good foundation are absolutely critical to having the smoothest sailing possible. I'm not going to say that's not true, because it is. To include the first 8 weeks that puppy is alive, that's really important. It is. But please do not believe that if you make mistakes that your puppy is going to just turn out to be a nightmare. Just understand that it is a process. Eventually you will be looking back on it fondly, thinking, okay, we got through that. It was a season, and it should be joyful. You should be enjoying it as much as possible. All right, so day is here. Everybody should definitely sit down and talk about what rules there are going to be Is the dog allowed on the furniture? Is the dog allowed in certain rooms? What doors need to be closed all the time? Who's responsible for keeping things off the floor? Like, go over all of those things and make sure that everybody is really clear and everybody really understands what the expectations are, what the rules are, because that way when you say, you know, hey, this is your job, or hey, you know, you promised to do that, they don't say, like, you know, the kid favorite of, I didn't know that. Everybody needs to be on the same page. If you're not all on the same page right away, things are gonna get kind of haywire. The dog needs to know that the rules that you are applying to the dog from the very first day are going to be consistent with everyone. In the beginning, when you bring, in the beginning, there was void. Anyway, if you bring your puppy home, you know, everybody's gonna be super excited. Everybody's gonna wanna play with the puppy. You know, the kids might even fight over the puppy. You know, everybody wants to just, you know, dump all of this attention on the puppy, and that's great for the puppy. But it does also mean that it's a great time to start laying down foundation. So your first week home with the new puppy, you are doing a couple of things. You're bonding with the puppy, so you're establishing trust. You're establishing with that puppy that you are gonna take care of that puppy, that all good things come from you or the other humans in the family. All good things come to the puppy from you guys. Everything good, you are the ambassadors of good, you are the good, right? And that the puppy can completely rely on you. The puppy can completely trust you. And then the other thing that you're doing, you're going to get through crate training. That's your second thing. And then your third thing is going to be house training. That is all schedule. Schedule, 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 schedule. It's just building habits. So some of these habits that you want to start right away would include requiring the puppy to sit before the puppy can have anything. That's just like saying please for a puppy. I'm just gonna try to get them to learn that sitting is sort of like pushing the go button. All right, so you want to teach them that. So the sit for please is really important to get everybody doing from day one. The earlier we start the habit, the better, because you're not really just training your puppy, you have to actually train everybody in the family. Everybody in the family is starting out learning habits with this dog right away. And so start on the right foot, like start practicing the things that you need to do immediately with patience and love and gentle reminding. You know, try not to like scream at each other about it. The first big thing is gonna be stress. Your puppy is gonna be so stressed out. This is a really, really, really big transition for this puppy. And remember, it's just a baby. They're leaving everything they know. You're about to take them away from their brothers and sisters and put them in a whole new world. And that's gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be like a little puppy mind-blowing experience. So it's gonna be scary. Just expect it. Expect your puppy to be anxious and kind of nervous. First day is gonna be really stressful, so you really want to like ease your puppy into this with as much understanding as possible. Generally speaking, it takes about 3 days for a puppy to kind of come out of its shell. But after a little while, it won't be such a big deal. Just those first couple of days, make sure that that puppy has some grown-up's eyes on it all the time, or it should be safe in a crate. Next thing on the list, stress is going to be inevitable. This might cause your puppy to have a little bit of diarrhea. So you have just become puppy protector, also puppy poo monitor. And again, if you've ever had a baby at home, you know what this is like. Puppy poop should be soft and formed. It should not be a puddle, and it should not be hard and dry. If it isn't, the first several days, that's to be expected, because the anxiety and the stress can give them a little bit of diarrhea. Sometimes it causes a little constipation, but it's usually diarrhea. If you get a little bit of diarrhea, you want to give your puppy about 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of pumpkin puree, like the stuff that you get for pumpkin pie in the can. I use an organic brand because I don't want GMO squashes. Any pumpkin or sweet potato that is mashed up has a really good fiber in it. It causes them to stop having diarrhea. So this is something you can use for the life of your dog. It's really, really great to have on hand, since an entire can of pumpkin isn't really gonna be used. What I like to do is to get an ice cube tray, open up a can of pumpkin, fill the ice tray with pumpkin, and then stick it in the freezer. And then when it's frozen, you can pop them out, stick them in a freezer bag, and keep it in there. And then if your dog ever has diarrhea, you can pull one of those right out of the freezer and feed it to your dog. It works really, really well. just give your puppy a teaspoon or two every day until the first week or so is over. You don't have to use it unless your puppy has diarrhea, but it doesn't hurt them to incorporate it. It will turn their poop kind of orange, but it has a lot of really good vitamins in it too. It's really good for them. Don't hesitate to give that to them. A lot of foods even use sweet potato for this reason, or pumpkin. You can buy supplements that are powdered pumpkin, but it's the same thing. Sometimes I'll like it mixed with a little bit of whole fat yogurt. Yogurt is also great because of the probiotics. So if you don't have your puppy on a probiotic, please do give them, you know, a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of whole fat plain yogurt. I like to keep them on probiotics until they're done with all their vaccines, at least at a minimum. How often is your puppy going to poop every day? Most puppies poop between 4 and 6 times a day. Now, your puppy's pooping schedule is going to be completely thrown off when you go home. So I have a typical schedule posted online. I recommend just transitioning to your schedule that first day when everything's all topsy-turvy anyway. I'm gonna send you home with a piece of paper that is like a log. If you want it, you don't have to take it if you don't want it. But I like to stick it on the fridge and just check off when the puppy is going potty, when the puppy is eating, when the puppy is sleeping. Because after a couple of days when the puppy really starts falling into a routine, you're gonna notice those things. And if you can think ahead and you know when, oh, it's about time for the puppy to pee or it's about time for the puppy to poop, then you can actually get the puppy out to the right place in the right amount of time, and you're gonna make house training a lot easier. Learning your puppy's body and schedule, getting them on your schedule, that's gonna be like your work for the next week. I know that at first it's really exciting to have a new puppy, but try not to have your first couple days be completely not structured. They're gonna nap a lot, your puppy is going to sleep a ton, that's normal. They have a tendency to like water, so they might dig in it, they might splash in it, they might play in it, they might bite at it, they might try to stand in the bowl. That's all normal, but do not leave the water dish down all the time for your puppy, or your puppy is going to drink water all day long and pee every 5 minutes, and you are never going to get your puppy potty trained. You definitely want to make sure that you are offering water with dry kibble. Anytime they're done with a chew treat, they should have water available. Anytime they've just finished a good romp, whether it's outside or inside, anytime you notice they're panting, you can offer them water. And sometimes they like to drink a lot of water, sometimes they don't. You know, your puppy will drink as much water as they need. You don't have to worry about it. And then with food, again, your puppy will eat as much as your puppy wants to eat. Don't stress if it doesn't seem like a lot. Your puppy is small. And don't stress if it seems like a lot, because your puppy knows what she's doing. She is going to eat as much as she needs to eat. Obviously, if your puppy's not eating at all, that is not good. Not eating is not good. But if your puppy seems like they're being picky or whatever, there could be so many things behind that. You know, too many treats, or maybe your dog's feeling nervous, or maybe your dog is scared of the dish. Sometimes that happens, so you never know. But if your puppy is happy and playful and seems normal in every other way, and they're just like eating a tiny bit of food and you're thinking, oh, it's not very much, it could just be that you're overestimating your puppy's tummy size. Feed your puppy as much as they want. Do not try to regulate how much they're eating. Let them eat as much as they want. They should walk away from food like, oh, I couldn't eat another bite. They can eat twice a day, but if you are home, feed them 3 times a day. Or if you're doing the training where you're hand feeding, then they'll be eating pretty much throughout the day, but at least 2 times a day where you're really feeding them a whole bunch at once, doing a whole bunch of things. I recommend hand feeding. I recommend training for food, for kibble. I prefer giving them food in puzzle treats rather than just giving it to them in a bowl. That first week at home, you just want to make sure that they're bonding. And so I really think that hand feeding them is really awesome, because you're just sort of teaching them that everything good comes from you. You're the food dispenser, you're the snuggle dispenser, you're the water dispenser, you know, you're the toy dispenser. Everything awesome should be coming from you. And so with that in mind, don't just leave toys laying around. They should come from you. Everything good should come from you. That is going to really start that strong bond of your puppy looking at you like you are the provider, and that means that they're going to listen to you, and they're going to want to make you happy, and they're going to want to do what you want them to do, because they want to fit in with your family, because you're awesome, right? You want to convince your puppy that first week that you're awesome. And that will gain your puppy's cooperation in the whole training process. You're definitely going to have a puppy that is into everything. So you're gonna puppy proof your house just like if you had a new baby. Get down on the floor, look around, at puppy level and see anything that you think might be a hazard. And then the most important thing is charging cords. We live in this age where we have phones and tablets and e-readers and computers everywhere, and those charging cords have a tendency to be dangling all over the place plugged in, and that is a serious hazard. Cords need to be kept put away and tucked behind things, not dangling off of counters and not sitting on the floor for a puppy to chew, especially when they are plugged in. Cords that are not being used should not be left plugged in. And pay attention to your puppy. If you see cord chewing, that puppy needs to be told no and redirected immediately, and they need to be watched because that's a fast track to, you know, a fried puppy. They bite everything. That's how they explore their world. They put everything in their mouth first. That's their first sense, you know. They're born into the world blind and deaf, but their taste buds work. So, and their nose works. And so those are the senses that they test everything out with first. They sniff everything and they bite everything. And you're going to be constantly trying to get their mouths off of things like your hands, your shoes, you know, the cords, your kids. So just expect that. The biggest thing you can do to puppy proof is just keep your eyeballs on your puppy. Your puppy should not be running free in your house. Your puppy should be under strict supervision at all times. If you cannot watch your puppy, he should either be in a crate or in a playpen. Playpens are great. I love playpens. They will cry and whine and complain. They aren't gonna like it, but it's better than your puppy running around the house, getting into things, making bad habits, slowing down their house training, potentially eating things that are toxic. It's not cruel to keep them contained for their own safety. A crib is the same thing as a crate, and a playpen for a human baby, same thing that it is for a puppy. The difference is that the puppy playpens are way bigger than baby playpens. So don't feel bad about putting them in a playpen. People often lock puppies in the bathroom, or they block them off with a gate, baby gate in the kitchen. That is not a good idea because sometimes they will chew on cabinetry or baseboards and ruin things that are very expensive or difficult to replace. And you can always leash your puppy to your pants, and then you will keep your puppy with you when you're walking around. So like you're making dinner or you're doing the dishes or something super fun like that, then at least your puppy is right there. And so he's not, you know, off in the other room getting into something. If you're gonna gate him in the room that you're in and your eyes aren't directly on the puppy, but you're, you know, able to like look over at the puppy every couple of minutes, that's fine. I don't mean that you have to walk around staring at the puppy every second of every day, because who could do that? As much as you want to believe your kids when they swear that they will watch the puppy, unless your kids are older than 14, they probably won't. They're just so easily distracted, and it's not their fault. Their attention spans just typically aren't long enough. They'll be looking at something else and the puppy is, you know, down the street. Or they got distracted because a cartoon is on that their little brother is watching, and the next thing you know, the puppy's pooped behind the couch and nobody even saw it happen. That's just setting yourself up for frustration and for your kids to feel bad. They can't help it. Don't expect them to be able to really keep an eye on the puppy. Let them watch the puppy. Tell them that it's okay, that they can watch the puppy, but make sure you're in the same room. You might be sitting there doing work on your computer or something, and the puppy's blocked in the room with you, and your kid's in there, and you say, okay, you can play with the puppy, but you have to watch the puppy, you have to supervise, and then let them supervise the puppy, but you're also right there kind of keeping it under control. I'm going to link to a ton of articles in the description box where you can really look through all of those things. Right now it is crate training. Read the crate training article, and then there's a potty training tips. It's really quick. It's not hard. It's not like super difficult to get through. There are no dog parks, no places where other dogs are, no dogs that you don't know, but it is okay for your puppy to play with other dogs. If you know the dogs and you know the dog's owners and you know that that dog is vaccinated, that's fine. No puppies. Keep your puppy away from other puppies. But don't let your puppy hang out with puppies that are brand new from a breeder or from a pet store or from a rescue, because they could be carrying all kinds of dangerous diseases. Your puppy is not going to be fully safely vaccinated until 16 weeks of age. No, you don't want to keep your puppy inside. Yes, you can take walks with your puppy. puppy. Yes, you can go outside with your puppy. No dog parks, no strange dogs. The veterinary hospital is one of those places where you can pick up a lot of germs, just like taking your kids to the pediatrician or you going into the ER. You know, you walk in that ER, you know you're coming home with the flu. That's the way the vet hospital can be. So when you go in the vet hospital, carry your puppy. Don't let them get away with not washing their hands. Ask them to wash the table in front of you if they don't, so that you know that it's clean. That, or when they walk away, just grab that bottle of cleaner and clean it yourself. I've worked at a lot of vets, and a lot of times the staff have to work their butts off to keep things clean, and it's still really hard to prevent patients from passing things to each other. I am absolutely not bashing on anyone because I worked in a vet tech, and I'm telling you right now, they are way, way, way underpaid, and they are way overworked. I want to make sure that that table is cleaned right in front of me, and if it's not, I will do it myself when they walk away. I'll try not to feel bad for asking things like if the vet walks in and doesn't wash their hands or put on gloves, or walks in with gloves on, that always makes me nervous. Like, it's okay to hold your puppy back and just say, you know, I'm just so nervous with my new puppy. I know I'm just a nervous new mom. Would you please I just really feel more comfortable if I saw you put on fresh gloves, or I would really feel more comfortable if I saw you wash your hands. And sometimes you go into a vet hospital and they're like amazing. So if you notice that, that's fabulous. But if you don't, just feel free to pay attention and speak up. Feel free to spray your shoes down with Lysol or something when you come out of there if you want to. That's not a bad idea. Or even wearing shoe covers, although you probably feel silly doing that, but it isn't a bad idea. What I personally do, I bring in a pee pad and then I put it down on the table and I put my puppy on the pee pad. And that way the puppy's just not even on the table at all. And then when the puppy's done with its checkup, I pick the puppy up and then the pee pad goes right in the trash. I don't even touch the bottom of it. I just pick it up in the top and just throw it right in their garbage can and I'm out of there. And then I spray down my shoes when I leave because it's just, it's where everybody's sick goes. So that's where all the germs are. Insurance. Do you need insurance? Insurance is a tough one. You definitely have to just look into it, see what's best for you. Healthy Paws is the one that I recommend. I will put my link in the description box below, but this is what I will say. If you guys decide not to do insurance, if you have a partner, then definitely the two of you sit down. If you're on your own, you know, sit down with someone you trust and have a conversation with them, an honest conversation about what you will do if there is an emergency, because I have seen people bankrupted over emergencies with their pets. It is unreal how expensive veterinary care is, and you do not want to be thinking about what your budget is when something goes wrong. Heaven forbid your sweet dog gets hit by a car. That is not the time to think, how much money can we actually realistically afford? Now, I know that our dogs are our family members and we love them so much, but we also have to be responsible adults. And a lot of us are parents too. We have to feed our kids and we have to pay our mortgage, and these things are just real life. And sometimes we don't have access to those kinds of credit cards, or know that if we spend $20,000 on chemotherapy for our dog, it's really going to hurt us financially. And sometimes those hard decisions have to be made. It is not the time to think about those decisions in the middle of a crisis. You have to sit down and have that very grim discussion with somebody that you trust or with your partner to really say, like, what can we really afford? Is there a cap? Then we agree that we will not spend more than that. Ultimately, if you've got something that's ridiculously crazy expensive, you may have to make the call to put the dog down. You're gonna have to touch base and have that conversation every couple years, because your dog is aging, your dog starts to get older, and health problems are gonna start to increase because that's what happens with seniors, and you are gonna have to have the senior dog talk at some point. So if you don't have health insurance, you must have those talks, and they're really hard to have, but you have to have them, and then you have to agree and you have to stick to it. All right, guys, so I think I covered everything that I could think of, and I'm sure that you guys will have questions for me, so just bring them with you, and I will see you in, I guess, a couple days. So that's exciting. All right, bye guys.